Well, here's something a bit different. I've just locked Peggy-Anne up, left her. I'm going to leave her in the marina here for a couple of weeks, and I'm going down to, I'm going to do some sailing. I'm going to show you the other side of life on a boat. Thought, well, good opportunity to take you guys on a real sailboat. Should be a bit of fun, but got some nice wind for the next week, so we'll see how far down we get. Anyway, I think I'll be very pleased to get back to Peggy-Anne and the comfort of my boat. But anyway, we'll show you what it's like on a sailboat. Well, we don't wear skimpy bikinis. Hell, it frightens me when I take my shirt off. There's definitely no one pregnant here. This is motor sailing for old dudes. We do live on a boat, and we do cruise extensively along the Australian coast. Join us and visit some great destinations. Learn how to look after a boat and live off grid. It might even get you enthused to do the same thing. Hey, stay out there till you can't. So here's the boat. It's a Jeanneau Sun Odyssey, 40 foot long, draws about 2 metres, and I think probably weighs about 8 tonne. So this is going to be home for the next couple of weeks. By the wind at how many knots? 6 knots, unbelievable. Beautiful sail trim, I must admit. Well, I haven't actually sailed on a boat for about 20 years, I don't think. Well, definitely not on a monohull anyway. It brings back memories of my little Ultimate 18 I used to sail around Western Port. Good fun. And it is good. I just got to chop one leg off a bit shorter than the other and I'll be fine here. And I'm a bit worried that the captain's going to ask me to get out and sit on the gunnel to balance the boat up, but I don't know if she'll do that or not. But yeah, this is good. I'm going to enjoy this. It's going to be fun. We're sailing along at 6 or 7 knots now, just driven by the wind. It's pretty special when it's happening like that. Well, it's been a rather big day. This sailing's pretty hard work. But we've had a good time. We've had some dinner now, and I think it's nearly time to head off to bed. After a calm night at Great Keppel Island, the wind's very light in the morning and we motor sail all the way to the Narrows. We're just about ready to go, just starting the motors, and we'll get the anchor up and get a bit of sail up and start heading. Way to Pancake Creek. It's been a great trip. The weather's been fantastic, really. We had to motor sail from Great Keppel to the Narrows, and then we got through the Narrows all right. We had a very brisk sail down past Gladstone. I think a couple of reefs in the main. This boat is really well set up, very easy to handle. You can do everything from the cockpit. And even though it's well set up, I'm just comparing what I'm doing now with what I do on my boat. Everything you do is pretty difficult, really. Just raising sail, getting sails down, even moving around on the boat, being a mono, you've got to be bracing yourself all the time, and it's a totally different kettle of fish than what I do when I'm on Peggy-Anne. So it's been great to do. It's been a lot of fun doing a bit of sailing again. But yeah, I think as I get older, I'm pretty happy to just pull that head sail out on Peggy-Anne and motor sail around the place. And for probably a fair bit of the trip, we've been motor sailing anyway, so that does happen. But yeah, when you've got weather like this, we've got at the moment it's northeast about 10 to 12 knots, I reckon, and it's perfect sailing conditions. So it really is champagne sailing as we head from Gladstone down to Pancake Creek. Very nice. But when we get there, we've got to get all these sails down and packed up and everything stowed, so another chore to do once we get there. Anyway, it's good to do the comparison, I guess, but I won't be selling Peggy-Anne next week, that's for sure. Okay dudes, just little things like launching the dinghy on a yacht like this. Now the system of launching the dinghy off a yacht like this is quite complex actually. This dinghy is on what they call snap davits, so you unlash it, and then with this rope here you lower it into the water. You can see the snap davits there, they're holding it on the back, so what we've got to do is get down and release it off them. And then that outboard motor, which weighs about 20 kilos, has got to be lifted off that bracket, put down on the transom of the dinghy, and then you can go ashore. So these are the snap davits, and they've got to click into these devices here. So get them onto there. First you've got to get the dinghy side on in the tide, which can be a problem. So they're put into there. And then the davits, the dinghy's got to be lashed onto the back, onto the push pit here, and that's how it travels. All of this takes probably 20 minutes. So it's not a great system. You could change the way the boat's set up by having a lifting davit. It'd have to be up the top here somewhere to be a frame that's made up that would lift the dinghy and the outboard out of the water, and that'd be a much simpler system than having it on snap davits like this. But anyway, that's how some boats are set up. I like the way my dinghy gets launched into the water off the back of Peggy-Anne, because I can have it in the water in about 30 seconds and I can have it out again in probably 45 seconds. A lot better system. Because my feelings on it are, if you can't get your dinghy in the water simply and easily, you're not going to use it. And as you get older, all of this heavy sort of work, lifting that outboard off and putting it in the dinghy, can be quite taxing. It can be pretty strenuous to do it when you're an older person. So different ways of getting the dinghy on board. We're on our way to Bundaberg. A little bit of sailing this morning, but the wind's just dried out and we're motor sailing again, as you can probably hear in the background. So a couple of days of motor sailing here. I think it's going to be pretty light wind conditions today. Had a good sail yesterday, but a bit more motor running today. So now it's raining, and that makes it more fun. I don't think we're going to get much, but it's the worst day we've had. Where's my wheelhouse? Well, I sometimes get asked why I don't put a mainsail on the boat as well as my headsail, and here's why. So we've got a preventer on here to stop the boom from driving across. The headsail's furled a little bit because it's been backwinding the main a little bit, but you can see it's not really doing much for us. Probably a little bit, but not much at all. If the wind fills in a bit, we'll get a bit more drive out of everything. We can probably get that heady out, but yeah, at the moment we're trying to keep the main up because it keeps the boat more stable. But yeah, it's a bit of a toss-up whether we do keep it up or whether we douse it. So here we are tied up at Bundaberg, and this is where I get off. There's more wind now than we've had all day. It's been about 5 knots the whole way, and now it's blowing about 20. It would have been good coming down on this, but anyway. Here's my little cabin. This is what you'd call a quarter berth on a yacht like this, I guess, but a bit of a bunk under the cockpit, plenty of room. It's probably a double sized bed, but you are in under this bit of cockpit here. Good ventilation, hatch there, hatch up there. A bit of a debrief on the trip. Look, it was good. It's good to know that I can still do that harder work than I do on my boat, so good to know that you can still handle a bit of winch grinding and sail handling and rocking around like you shouldn't. But it has been good, but you know, I'm glad I'm sort of getting off here at Bundy. I've had about a week on the boat, and we've done some nice sailing. We did probably half and half sailing and motor sailing, so you know, there's a lot of people out there that say they're sailors and they sort of can me a bit for running my motors all the time and not being a true sailor. But I tell you what, there's something to be said about being able to start your motors, know you're going to get to a destination at a certain time, and then having the bonus of getting the wind to help you there and get there a bit quicker. But yeah, I'll be glad to be back to Peggy-Anne and back on board. I'm sure she misses me and I miss her. Well, off the boat and onto the train. I've got a train to Gladstone and then a bus to Rockhampton, and then Pete's going to pick me up and take me back to the marina. Fantastic. Thanks very much to Dave and Peg in Bundy. They've come out for dinner with me and helped me fill in the day, and yeah, it's been great catching up with them. And yeah, thanks Pete for picking me up in Rocky. Anyway, 4 hours of public transport and we'll be home.
Station side of the opposite line.
So it's a quick stop in Gladstone, off the train onto the bus, about another hour, and I'll be back up at Rockhampton. Okay, so off the bus in Rocky, now all I've got to do is get to your food, and I've got Pete picking me up, so that'll be good. I'll be back on the boat pretty soon. Well, it's good to be back on board. That was a bit of fun. It was good to do a bit of sailing with the boat being driven just by the wind. I must admit, I really enjoyed that part of it. But we did do quite a bit of motor sailing. I'd say half the trip was under motor. And it's a lot more comfortable on a catamaran, I think, than on a mono, especially for someone a bit older. The stability on these things gives you a lot more pleasant ride. You're on the level most of the time. Also, the fact that on catamarans, most of your living space is on one level. You're not going up and down companionway stairs to get from the saloon up into the cockpit. On this boat, I'm a lot more sheltered from the elements as well in the wheelhouse. So this old wheel's got a lot going for her, especially when you're an old dude like me. But look, it was enjoyable. It's good to know that I could still do it. I could still do that physical side of sailing. But anyway, I think we're not going to rush out and sell Peggy-Anne just yet. Not ever, I don't think. Would I do a trip like that again next week? Nah. What about the week after? Nah. How about in a month's time? Probably not. But look, we are going to do some more motor sailing on this boat right here. Why not do it in comfort? Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that video. If you have, give us a thumbs up. Make a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe. Helps our channel get out there. Fantastic. Share it around with your friends. Thanks, dudes. Catch you next week.